This is a Bulldog Radio podcast.
Perfect.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me.
All right, Mikes and Takes, episode 4. I'm here with Sean, and I'm Barrett, and I'm Travis, and we're going to hop into some NBA, and we're also going to talk about NFL later on. But first, let's talk about the Pistons. What were your guys' thoughts about the 2 games they had this week?
So I was absolutely ecstatic. I know we took on the Pacers earlier this week. They didn't have Victor Oladipo yet again. I was excited to see how they would do at home. There was word that Christian Wood was going to get some minutes prior to this game, and he sure did. I mean, he did his part, contributing very well. It was pretty good, close game throughout the whole thing, but eventually we just pulled away right at the end. A couple big shots, D Rose. So
game winner,
yeah, ice in his veins, even though he was shooting like 4 for 16. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I liked the Indiana game. It was actually on my birthday, so It was a good birthday present for me.
There you go.
Nice 2-point win against Indiana. So, and then the game against Toronto, that was obviously a tough one. I mean, Toronto's still looking good. As we were talking before we started the podcast, we're surprised that they're 4-1. And I think one bright spot for Toronto is OG Anunoby. He's been a phenomenal. I've heard people saying he could win Most Improved and all that. So, yeah.
I honestly agree. I think the Raptors have been very good. I'm pretty shocked because I picked them to not make the playoffs. I'm still going to hold on to my pick. I'm not going to be a hypocrite or renege on my pick, but they're looking good. Siakam, too, 35-5 against us. He's been, the vocal point of their offense. And Kyle Lowry, I know your boy. He's looking good, too. So I do think they'll slow down later because the East is starting to get more competitive, but they're looking good, though, right now. I can't lie.
Yeah, I think we just got killed in transition. I really thought that, OG killed us. A lot of his baskets were in transition. Pascal, too. We just were not good. It felt like we were slow. I think Dwayne talked about in his press conference that he was like, we were just playing like we came off a back-to-back, and we didn't. So, that's maybe a test to the conditioning of the players. I know we're a little injured. We got new guys in there. Bruce Brown played horrendous. He had more turnovers and shot attempts in the game, which is terrible from what you want from a point guard. So it's just, it's finding Reggie Jackson was out, so you have to get Tim Frazier and plug him in, and then having Bruce Brown. Pistons fans think he's able to take the next step, and then he goes and does stuff like this where he just constantly turns the ball over, and it just makes him want to go, put him back down at the drive down here in Grand Rapids.
And I know it's they're still trying to do a minutes restriction for Derrick Rose, but you got to let him start. I feel like Reggie's gone. This is Rose's opportunity, and he's playing so good. He's averaging over 20 a game. I just feel like Tim Frazier's good, but I would just give D Rose a starter's minutes and have Frazier come off the bench, because especially against the Raptors, Frazier had 7 points in 22 minutes and 5 assists. I mean, that's just not going to get it done. I don't know. I feel like D Rose should get more playing time. I feel like this is his time.
And on the bright spot, it looks like Blake Griffin might be coming back here very, very soon. So that'll really help the Pistons out here in a little bit. He comes back.
Definitely. I think with the stress they're having of games coming up right now, we play the Bulls tonight. Hopefully we need this road win against a pretty, bad Bulls team. Then we play Brooklyn Saturday at home. That's going to be a tough one, but I think, just with the games coming up, the Pistons should be able to make a run or some sort of impact, because this is the time now, and especially when Blake comes back, because right after the Nets we got the Wizards and Knicks and Pacers again. These are winnable games against not good teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially, if we get 3 on the Pacers right off the bat, it's really good for the conference, really good for the division. Yeah, you're right. We do have a very crappy schedule coming up, and hopefully we don't play down to their level. That's one thing I think Dwayne Casey emphasizes last year, is during that final stretch of us going into the playoffs that we played down to some very poor teams, dropping the ball to Charlotte and Washington, which, may not seem like much, but it took us down to, we were 6th seed, now we're down to 8, and it makes a huge difference, especially who you're playing. So
that's true. That's what hurt us actually last year. Last year we were the 6th seed most of the season. Then that's when we dropped down to 8 because we were just as good as like the Magic and the other teams that made it ahead of us. But I think that's what hurt us. And we ended up, obviously, you guys know the rest of the story.
Swept by the Bucks. Yeah, terrible.
MVP.
Yeah, and also about the Chicago game, the Bulls right now, I'm looking at the odds. They're currently a 3.5-point favorite, so I think that's just because they're at home.
That's terrible. How? That doesn't make any sense.
The Bulls are terrible. This is they're 1-4.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
I'm just looking on ESPN, and the matchup predictor has them winning 52.8% to 47.2 for the Pistons.
They have the Pistons winning or Bulls winning?
Bulls winning.
The Bulls.
How? I don't even know who's on the. I don't even know who's on the Bulls.
Zach LaVine is literally their best player.
Zach LaVine. Oh, they have Kobe White. I forgot. They have Kobe White, Laurie. They have Chris Dunn. Okay.
And that's no hate to Zach LaVine. He's a great player, but this is just a young team that's just not there yet. There's still a few draft picks and trades and
such an odd bunch. I'm looking at
trades
it right
away
now.
from making an impact. So this is. Come on.
I'm like Otto Porter Jr.'s on there, Denzel Valentine. It's an interesting bunch of people. I'll tell you that. It was also good to see CV play. Hyluk, the guy we picked up from the Lakers last year, in a trade for, I believe, just some conditional picks, but.
Through the Reggie Bullock trade. Yeah,
through the Reggie Bullock trade. Yeah. And it was good. Like, I think people overhype him. I think, he's just a white Russian who can shoot. But, he came out, I think he only played 9 minutes, but he went 3 of 3 from 3. So, I mean,
that's effective.
I'll take buckets anywhere I get. Maybe it was in garbage time. Maybe they're not playing their full rotation on them or their first rotation on them. But, I mean, it's still hard to shoot and get buckets in the NBA. So, I mean, it's good. Hopefully the Pistons can, get a win and kind of keep it rolling here especially against these really crappy teams.
I agree. And one last thing I want to say about the Pistons. I know, Sean, you're a big Drummond guy, and I like the way how Drummond's been playing. But I hope he continues to play the way he is, tire his trade value, because I believe we need that one guy who can take over. We need a James Harden, a LeBron James, a Kawhi. Even though there's obviously generation lifetime players that those are, but we need a guy that can consistently get 24, 25 a game and can take over. I still feel like we don't have that yet.
Yeah. And about you bringing up possibly Trump being traded, I was just like one night just scrolling through Facebook, and I seen a thing that there was the Bulls and the Pistons were in discussion for possibly marketing for Blake Griffin trade. What's your guys'? And it could happen around the February trade deadline.
Well, you said Laurie marketing for Blake Griffin?
Yeah.
I would not like that trade.
Man, I tell you what. Listen, as much as people are not going to like trading away Blake because we've become so accustomed to he becoming like part of the Motor City, I kind of like it.
Do you think Laurie Marketing will be the guy?
Listen, I think he's young. He's a tall guy. He can shoot the three at a pretty decent clip, if I'm not mistaken. Blake's old and breaking down, not to the knees of like Derrick Rose or whatever, but you have to take the youth in this situation because you can't like Blake's probably got 4 years, 5 years maybe left.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I just don't know if Laurie Marketing is going to be a franchise guy. I do, you do make some good points, but I just got to disagree with you on that one. I just don't know if he's the guy that can take us to the next level. Unless I don't see us building around him to make a run in the East. Do you guys think so?
I mean, I actually kind of don't mind Marketing, but I'm more of a Blake Griffin guy. I've liked Blake ever since he's came here, and I liked him even back in his LA Clipper days. So,
but to go back on your point, Barry, you are right. We should try to get some value for Blake at some point because 4 years, that's going to come quickly because that is probably how much the time he has left, especially with his knees. But I just don't know if Laurie Marketing is the guy, though.
So he's shooting 30%, or I'm sorry, he's shooting 43% from the field as a career, and he's shooting 35% from the field, from the 3-point line behind the arc. As a big man, I just don't think he gets enough. Maybe he just doesn't get enough minutes down there in Chicago. But
he might not be on the right team too. Like Chicago, nobody's really paying attention to them.
Yeah, I know, and it's probably tough because he doesn't have anyone. He was an All-Rookie in 2017, 2018, so he's on the All-Rookie team. But I mean, you gotta take the youth in this situation. Plus, especially if I'd be way more inept if they traded Drummond for Laurie, because Drummond wants like $40 million. That's what I saw on Reddit the other day.
He's not worth that,
right? And Tom Gores is going to be a dummy, and he's probably going to give him the money. And I love Drummond, but there's some times where I pull my hair out because I see him like just half-assing it down the line or down the way, and it's killing me. Like I love that he gets like 1 million boards a game. I love that he gets all these putback dunks. I love that he thinks he's now a point guard. He's like crossing people over at the free throw line. But I would rather have Blake and then this other guy. I'd rather have Blake and Laurie than Drummond, who wants all this money. And you're right. I want him to do so good this first part of the year. That way we can send him off to anywhere else and then get a trade for him.
That is something I completely agree with you with, because last year he shot 61% from the free throw line. It was a little bit of improvement, but still, like Drummond, he's just not the guy. Like he's not Cat. He's not Karl Anthony Towns. He's not Joel Embiid. And a fully healthy DeMarcus Cousins, he's not that either. Or Jokic. Like Drummond, he puts up the numbers, so he makes it think you look good. But then he'll have his games where he has like 8 and 4.
Yeah, or he becomes a hothead, and then he's in foul trouble. Like he's got 3 in the first half, and then Casey can't play him till the last like 5 minutes of the third, and then maybe be tentative with him in the fourth. So I don't know. He's just a wild card, man, and that's what he was at UConn. And I mean, it's just translated right to the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I think Drummond is a great center, but he's definitely I wouldn't take him over like a healthy DeMarcus Cousins, like you said, Travis. I think healthy DeMarcus Cousins, I think he's one of the best centers, if not the best center in the league.
I completely agree with you too on that, Sean, because like he also can't shoot like the other centers, so he's really one dimensional because he's always in the post. Karl Anthony Towns has a good 3, Joel Embiid has a good 3, and like you said, DeMarcus can, and Jokic, you see the way he stretches the floor for Denver. Drummond can't do that. We see when Drummond shoots threes, it goes like off the backboard. He shot under 20% from 3 last year.
Right. Yeah.
And this is a guy who claims he shoots 1,000 threes a day over the summer. I don't see it.
Yeah, right. No.
Terrible. Transitioning over, did you guys see the fight between Karl Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid?
It was intense. I can't lie.
It was intense.
I did one thing. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how you guys feel. I like it, though. I feel like it's bringing more competitiveness and, that aggression back to the NBA that we're missing. Because too many guys want to play with each other, too friendly, saying, good game, and this and that. I kind of like it, but I like it as long as it's controlled, not out of control. I do think what they did after the game, if you guys saw the social media posts, that was a little bit, too much.
It's childish. I think it's petty. I think it's it's not, keep it on the court, man. Like that. No one trash talked people back in the day over social media, mainly because there was no platform for it. But if you do it on the field, it makes you so much more of a man. You're out there right next to the dude saying it, as opposed to you're behind the screen, twiddling your fingers behind the phone, doing stuff like that. But yeah, I thought it was good. I wanted to see more. I felt like none of these guys wanted to go at it. Like I felt, it was a little soft. I think you mentioned, Travis, before the podcast that like Charles Barkley said it was kind of like they were like cuddling out there.
Yeah, it was like a snuggle fight. He said.
Right. Yeah, but you want to see more. I love the aggression. I think it's awesome. I think it was cool, like how it was back in the NBA. But yeah, you're right. I think people are too buddy, stuff like that.
I just kind of think maybe Simmons should have got at least a 1 game suspension.
Yeah, he had the guy in a chokehold.
Yeah, rear naked choke.
I was like, what is going on here? I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it seemed like no one came and defended Cat almost, it felt like Jeff Teague was there, but then Jeff Teague was just kind of like pushing people out of the way. Like, my teammates in there, I'm coming across the court and just blindsiding someone, dude. I don't even care if I get the fine. I'm making money. I'm playing basketball. I'm going to take someone out.
I completely agree. You got to have your teammates back, because it was just like in the video, it was like Cat just like going against 3 or 4 Sixers. It's like, come on, help him out here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know. I just really thought it was just like a crazy thing. Then like Joel Embiid after the game saying he's no bleep on cameras, like that's cool and all, but I mean, these are the 2 best centers in the game. So right now, at least, I think it was just crazy. I do think it's good for the NBA as long as it's controlled. And man, like it was a taste of like some 90s or something, guys.
Right?
Like,
yeah, it felt like the a little bit after post Bad Boys era there. It felt really good, but yeah,
Also, one thing next topic I wanted to hop into, I have a big announcement, Barrett and Sean. I believe Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the NBA right now at this moment. He's just, I don't know what else to say. Like, he's just been nothing but amazing. I know earlier, a few shows ago, I said LeBron was, but after the 38 he had against San Antonio, he's just been the best on both sides. I think at this stage in their career, Kawhi's better than LeBron. LeBron in his prime versus Kawhi in his prime, obviously I will go with LeBron, but at this stage, LeBron being 34 and Kawhi being 28, Kawhi's the best player in the league. Your guys' thoughts?
I actually totally agree with you. It was the first episode, and I picked him to win MVP, and I'm sticking to that. If he keeps playing this way, he will win MVP. He will be an MVP candidate, no doubt in my mind at all.
2 words. Devin Booker.
What, he's better than Kawhi Leonard?
No, not at all. I was just trying to throw someone in there. I mean, I could have just went with Luke Kennard. No, you're right. The Kawhi is, he's just playing out of his mind right now. There's no one who competes with him, athletically. Just the stuff he does, off ball, the stuff he does defensively on the floor. No one, comes close to him in that regard. So I was trying to be the contrarian in this argument, but I really don't have anyone to throw in there to compete against Kawhi. Maybe you could say Anthony Davis, but he's had one super good game. Kawhi's doing it night in, night out on the floor, beating the crap out of everyone, and then just hey.
He's playing great. 29.2 points per game, 7.6 rebounds, 6.2 assists, 50% from the field, 39% from 3, 87% from the free throw lines. Now, I know I just said a bunch of stats, but he's just playing amazing. He honestly could be in the MVP race, like you were saying. I just think he's the best player, and that's really the only thing he's missing. He's a 2-time Finals MVP, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and right now, especially with Durant out and LeBron, getting older, I just think he's the best player. And plus, I believe when they win in June, he's going to solidify it even more. And plus, he's getting Paul George back. Come on, he's never had a teammate like this.
So that's the thing. Is he going to lose? Is he going to drop in production because now he has another all-star on the floor?
I think his numbers might drop, and some people might say he had Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Ginobili, 3 great Hall of Famers, but Kawhi was there when they were older. They weren't really in their prime at their career. He's getting a Paul George who's coming off a 28 per game season, finished 3rd in MVP voting. I do believe, to go back on your point, Barrett, his numbers will drop a little bit, but I believe they're going to play so well together. 2 great defensive players on ball. What do you think, Sean?
I think when Paul George does come back, I think they are the best team in the league, hands down. And they're honestly the best team in the league right now without Paul George, as is.
And the best defensive team. You got to think Pat Bev.
Too,
because Kawhi and Paul George are guarding all the perimeter, and Pat Bev's doing his job, guarding most point guards, not all point guards. You guys saw that thing he said with Steph Curry about the next 5 year of mine, but it's he's 31. But he's just lucky. Yeah, right. He's just lucky he's on a good team. I love you, Pat Bev, but you have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I'll be saying the same thing too if I had those 2 great guys. But let's be real,
Yeah.
What's been the most disappointing team so far for the season for you guys, would you say?
The most disappointing team? Oh, man.
That's a good question. Honestly, that's very tough. I'm not going to lie. It might be the Pelicans right now. I know they've been dealing with some injuries. All the nationally televised games they've been getting. I just feel like Lonzo being in a new system, in a new area, I thought it was going to be more production. He didn't have to worry about LeBron and other guys. And it's still the same production. He's not really doing that much. Defensively, he's been great. But offensively, his game has not improved a lot. He's about 13 points per game right now. What about you? What team do you think?
Based on their 2-2 record, I'd say kind of the Bucks. I expected them to maybe be up there like Toronto's record at 4-1. I expected kind of their records to be flip-flopped a little bit, just because Giannis, he's a freak of nature. That's all you need to say about Giannis. He's a freak.
It still is early in the season, though.
Right,
Yeah, for me, I would have to go with the Nets. They are like third to last in the Eastern Conference Final. I mean, I know they have Kyrie, and I know they've lost. I think they've lost 2 overtime games this year. But I mean, they still have Kyrie, and he still is a baller. Like that first overtime loss that they had, he dropped like 54 points. So maybe it's just him taking all the shots. I know they still have Karras. I know they have Joe still, I believe.
They are missing Durant, though.
They are missing Durant, but I mean, you haven't played like crazy good guys. Like they've played, I believe they lost the Wizards. Like they haven't done anything like crazy. I know they play us next, which is not the greatest. So they beat the Lakers and then they lost the Lakers. Well, then they lost to the Raptors. Like, I don't know. Like, the Raptors, they're so confusing.
That's but then again, it still is early in the season, but I honestly agree. I don't know how the Raptors are so good right now. But, they are coming off, a championship, a lot of them, a lot of confidence, Kyle Lowry and all of them. But talking about the Wizards, did you guys see the Rockets and Wizards game? 159-115 regulation.
Oh, my God.
Where is the defense?
Dude, there's no defense. And if I hammered the over on that one, I would put the house on it.
Harden and Westbrook either scored or assisted on 128 of 159 of those points.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm mind blown. This is blasphemy.
Yeah.
Harden dropped 59, I believe.
Yeah, he had 59.
And Bradley Beal scored, I think, 46, 48, something like that. So,
46.
That's insane. 2 players dropping 50 points, basically, in a single game.
And one thing about the Rockets, I still don't think they'll come out the West, but they are a team to be reckoned with. I do believe Westbrook and Harden, I'm starting to buy into the hype a little bit. They are going to be a dangerous duo because Harden's looking... Well, I've always known he's a great regular season player. I just got to see it in the postseason, which he's not proven recently. And Westbrook, I mean, he's a triple-double machine.
Right, both of them. And we saw the first night that those two did not get along, or they were vibing in the pregame, just dribbling around, dancing all, House of Highlights, Sports Center's got all that covered.
Yeah,
but, halftime or, middle of the game, they're visually arguing, with each other. And, the announcers, the hometown guys are like, well, they're arguing with each other because they're childhood friends. They're childhood friends. Listen, man, arguing in front of everyone, it just displays poor body language. Plus, it shows signs of distrust or distress within the organization, and it's week 1. It's it's their first week, but you're right. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think they need one more piece. PJ Tucker's there, so I guess they have that corner shooter who's he hasn't left there all the last 5 years.
In the corner.
Yeah, he doesn't move. So maybe they'll be fine. You're right, but I just that stress is just going to come back again, how it was with Paul and Harden. And maybe it's Harden's becoming another Kyrie to where you can't play with them. Kyrie, he's always, we've heard the reports last week about him in China about the mood swings, and he wouldn't take the hat off, and so
I did hear about that.
Right, so he wasn't going to be the guy, he's like, oh, I'm not going to just do this,
but
be
the
around
Brooklyn
me.
Nets head coach did, he said that wasn't true. I don't know how true that story is, but he did say they might just be trying to protect Kyrie, but Kyrie does have a history of mood swings. That's why he axed out of Cleveland. Boston didn't obviously work out. But I do agree with what you're saying, but the one thing I do disagree, Harden and Westbrook is going to take time to develop chemistry because it has been 7 years since they played with each other on the same team. And it was different roles. Harden, was a six-man. Westbrook was more of a ball-predominant guy. But now, they're going to clash a lot because both of them are not efficient shooters for the most part, and they're ball-dominant players. So it is going to be some clashing, and that is right. I do think that's going to be a thing holding them back from a championship.
And also the Golden State Warriors. They just had a really bad injury, lost Steph Curry.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
now they're sitting at 1-3.
That hurts my MVP prediction. I gotta say, it might be time to tank. I didn't think I was going to say it. I think the Warriors maybe should just tank the season, try to get a good draft pick, and they can be contenders next year because you're going to get a healthy Clay, you're going to get Steph back, and they're going to make moves this offseason.
Right. Yep.
So I mean, it's just a thought.
Yeah, and they're one of the, I believe NBA rankings have put them at I think they're the youngest bench. They have the youngest bench in the NBA, so there's no experience on there. They don't have Sean Livingston. Andre's gone. They have, Draymond is still there, but they have they've lost everyone. Clay is hurt. Steph is hurt now. So who do you have running the point? Jordan McCaw
or Draymond?
Draymond.
Draymond's not really much of a scorer. He's more of their Dennis Rodman type defensive
backpack shooter.
Like for real, and I know it's been tough for them. But a lot of fans are actually happy because how dominated the Warriors were. They dominated the NBA the past 5 years. Now, kind of getting a taste of their own medicine. But they did have some unfortunate injuries. But I do feel for them. But yeah, this is a year just to probably tank because they're not how great the West is with no Curry.
There's no point. Like
with Curry, you barely make the playoffs. Without Curry, no.
Right. There's no point. There's absolutely no point. Like just have all the young guys go out there, start, have them get them all the experience. If you win some games, great. But if you don't, like you really all you have to compete with is like the Bulls, who really suck, and I guess the Wizards, who are not even trying to tank, they're just bad.
The Wizards are just bad,
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. I think tanking, we'll see in a couple of weeks, we'll see what they do, but how long is Steph out for?
I think it's going to be out a couple months. I mean, he will be back at some point this season, but by the time he gets back, I just think it's going to be too
shooting hand or non-shooting hand. I think it was his left.
It was his left hand, non-shooting hand.
So non-shooting hand. Yeah, shoot.
So he'll be back, but it's just not going to be the same team. They got blown out by the Thunder. Old Chris Paul led Thunder. No disrespect to Chris Paul, he's a future Hall of Famer, great guy, great player, but you should not be getting blown out by the Thunder. And they lost to the Suns the other night. So I just think it's probably should tank.
But I think the low key the Suns are actually not a horrible team. Like,
do you think they're a playoff team?
I know it's early on. I think they can sneak in as an AC. I think they can.
Who are the Suns better than in the West?
You could make the argument that people are. I've seen. I don't know what we did on our first episode of the NBA preview, but who would put the Spurs? The Spurs were not going to make the playoffs.
I had the Spurs in my playoff prediction.
See, I think the Suns are better than the Spurs.
What?
Listen here, Devin Booker. Fun fact, everyone, born in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, I love. He's my favorite NBA player. No disrespect to Devin Booker.
Okay,
I love Devin.
I'm just kidding. But I think they have. DeAndre Ayton's going to be coming back after his PED stint, so he's he's in drugs or whatever. Yeah. But I think Devin Booker is going to be a pretty good. I believe Ricky Rubio's out there right now.
Yep,
so they have some veteran experience out there. The Spurs, man, people. I'm telling you right now, Popovich. Listen, this is going to be the first year Popovich hasn't been in the playoffs in a long, long time. I don't know who they have. I know they have Murray out there, but oh man, I don't see it.
I usually agree with most things you say, but this time I'm putting my foot down. I do not agree with this statement because the Spurs are 3-1 right now. They're the current 4 seed. It's only 4 games in, but they got Dejounte Murray back. DeMar DeRozan's been great. LaMarcus Aldridge still putting up numbers. I don't think the Suns are better.
Listen, if DeMar ever listens to this show, which I know he'll never. Listen, he's a little mentally weak.
No, true, but
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
But the Suns, I just don't. I'm going to name you guys a list of teams, and you guys give me your honest opinion if they're better. Besides the Spurs, because you guys already said that they're not better than the Jazz. They're not better than the Rockets. I don't believe they're better than the Mavericks, the Lakers, Timberwolves, or Clippers or Nuggets. Those are a list of teams I just gave you. And honestly, the Trailblazers too.
The Timberwolves aren't. The Timberwolves aren't good this year.
How in the world do you guys think the Suns are making the playoffs?
Cat Wiggins, Josh Okogie, and Teague, isn't it? Who's the other? Who's the 4 out there? I don't know. I'm about to take a look at the old Phoenix Suns roster here.
I actually agree with you on most of them teams, but the only team I don't agree with is the Timberwolves.
Yeah, the Timberwolves, man, they're just shaky.
Even if I take the Timberwolves out,
Travis, let me read you off the Phoenix Suns roster. This is a list of Hall of Fame. This is a list of Hall of Famers.
You're joking.
Ready?
Stop.
Pause for effect.
All right, go ahead.
Aaron Baines.
You can't be.
Aaron Baines, Devin Booker, Javon Carter, the bald guy from West Virginia. We remember him. Ty Jerome. Oh my God. Cameron Johnson, Tyler Johnson, Frank Kaminsky. Dude.
You cannot be. The only future Hall of Famer maybe is Devin Booker, and I love Devin Booker, but we got to see more from him. He just turned 23.
Sorry, Kelly Oubre. That's Blueface Baby. That's Ricky Rubio. Listen, this is a team that is forced to be reckoned with, and these guys aren't even playing.
right?
I just don't see them being better than any of the teams I named. And the Trailblazers, too. Even if we take the Timberwolves out, I named 8 teams better.
I've been sitting on this take for 2 weeks.
You think the Suns will make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Well, that's just...
Yes.
That's just...
Mark it down. November 1st.
I think they'll get it as an 8 seed.
There it is.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
November 1st, 12:57 Eastern Standard Time, Big Rapids, Michigan.
All right, I'm holding you to it. I'm not letting
Fair
either
enough.
of you,
Fair
because the
enough.
Suns will not make the playoffs. And if I'm wrong, I don't know. Like, we can have a friendly wager on this, but I'm just telling you they're not making the playoffs. All right. Actually, let's make a bet. If the Suns make the playoffs, I buy you guys dinner. If they don't, you guys buy me dinner.
Fair enough. I agree.
I'm gonna enjoy the dinner at the end of the year,
Oh,
fellas.
all right. Fair enough. All right.
But while we're on NBA still, I can't lie, Trae Young is looking great, guys. He's only a second year, but the shots he's hitting from the logo, I don't know if you guys saw the little crossover he did in the Heat game. Man, he's looking very good.
The crappy part is, I believe he's hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe he's hurt.
Sadly.
Yeah, he rolled his ankle. It looked like a rough ankle sprain. I don't know what the diagnosis yet. I don't know
I
if
think they're saying only about a week, I think.
Dude, it looked it looked way worse for it to be just a week. I mean, it was one of those like ankle sprains where you're sitting out, like your foot is extended and then you're rolling forward. It looked nasty, but
Yeah,
he knew it as soon as he did it. So
it's just so sad because before the injury, this guy was averaging 26, 5, and 7.
right, he's shooting lights out. He's
50 from the field and 50 from 3. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's another, it's sad. Hopefully a speedy recovery for him. But let's hop into some NFL, guys. So we got some pretty good games this week. We actually had a really good game last night. I can't lie. Jimmy G looked great. Are the 49ers a serious threat to come out the NFC? They're 8-0.
Dude, I think so. I think Shanahan has he's running this looks like some 90s 49ers team. They're running the ball like crazy. Coleman, Moister, Burrito. They have Kittle at tight end. I think as you mentioned, Jimmy G has been playing out of his mind right now. I think Shanahan is such an offensive genius to where he gets people in the right spots at the right time, knowing all the scheme. I mean, you could make it the case that he was out coaching them last night, despite the game being so close. I think they've needed. I hate to say it, but yeah, they're really good because I don't know. I want the Lions to be where these guys are at.
We're just a little biased,
right? Just a little biased, but yeah, I think they are a legitimate threat. Being 8-0 to come out of the NFC.
Yeah, I see the thing on First Take that Max Kellerman said that Jimmy G's, I believe, 16-2 or 18-2.
He's 16-2 and 18 career starts. Yeah,
that's what
that's unheard of.
I knew it was 16 or 2 or 18 or 2, but yeah. I mean, I wasn't high on them, but now man, they're good. One thing I would like to see, if the 49ers and Pats were to meet in the Super Bowl, change of events, man. Bill Belichick going against Jimmy G. This is a guy who he wanted to keep. And I can't lie, Bill Belichick saw it before all of us. He's the greatest coach in NFL history and all that. But Jimmy G, he saw it. This is why he wanted him. 4 touchdowns last night, 28 of 37, 317 passing yards. Jimmy G's the real deal. But they're going to get their first real test next week. I'm excited to see them at home versus Seattle against Russell Wilson, who's obviously my front runner win MVP. He's been playing great, him and Christian McCaffrey. But 49ers are looking good. But one game, this is I believe the game of the week, Pats versus Ravens. A lot of people feel like the Patriots have had the easiest schedule so far, and they're getting their first real test on the road. Do you guys see a possible upset, or are you guys thinking Pats roll to another win?
So I the Ravens defense has been super sketchy of late. They've been up and down, especially fantasy wise. You're right. This will be a test for the Patriots, but not only just a test for the Patriots. It'll be a test for Lamar Jackson to see if he can lead his team against a phenomenal, historic Patriots defense who, they don't even have a good defensive line. They don't have stellar defensive linemen. They let go of Trey Flowers. He's in Detroit now. Thank the Lord.
Yeah, we need him.
They have a wicked secondary, including the linebackers, and they have the McCourty twins, which are just playing out of their mind right now. But I think they both recorded. I believe they have both 4 interceptions on the year, which is crazy.
That's insane. It's only been 8 games.
Right. So, and they are just gobbling up anything up there. I feel it'd be really nice to see if Lamar Jackson again beat the Patriots. Not that I'm saying I hate the Patriots, but I would, it'd be good to see them like kind of go down. Not like one game's gonna hurt them in any way. But I do love Belichick. I do think it'll be a test for both sides. But I think all eyes are gonna be really on like Lamar to see if he can lead his team.
Yeah, I think the Patriots are going to win this game, but like it depends. I mean, on what Baltimore Ravens team I guess shows up. If they play like they did at the beginning of the year and Lamar Jackson goes off like he did at the beginning of the year, then yeah, it would be a close game. But take the Patriots.
I do also have the Patriots winning too. I'm a little biased Tom Brady fan as well. But I do admit this defense has not seen a quarterback like Lamar all year. So it's going to be the biggest test. I agree, Bear. Like, it's going to be a good close game. I think it's going to be high scoring because the Ravens defense is still kind of skeptical. And I do think you're going to see a Patriots offense play better than what it's done most of the season. Because I feel like Brady and them have just done enough because the defense has just been so great out of this world. But it's going to be this next 5 games upcoming is going to be tough. They got a lot of tough teams. So I think it's going to be interesting to see. I do think it's going to be a close one, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Ravens win because this is, it's going to be a tough road game. Baltimore is a team they could potentially play in the divisional round or AFC title game, so it's going to be a good one. Another game, since we talked about the Lions, we're playing the Raiders this weekend in Oakland. How do you guys see that game going?
Okay, so ESPN has put out this narrative since the start of the week. I believe it was Tuesday. They put out an article saying that we're underdogs in this whole thing. It's the Raiders. I don't understand how the Lions could more as well be. They could be undefeated. They could be undefeated or even have one loss this season. Like, yeah, we got whooped by the Vikings, but I think the officials hurt us in Kansas City, and I feel like we just got screwed over by the Packers. Aaron Rodgers helping everybody out, the refs and all that. But, and the tie is really just a coaching error. So to say that we're underdogs to a Raiders team that is kind of like a dumpster fire over there in Oakland, I don't know. As a Lions fan, I'm upset.
Honestly, I think it's just because we're so wishy-washy, we're so inconsistent because we tie against the Cardinals, but we're still the first team to ever hold Mahomes without a touchdown pass. So, you never know which Lions team you're going to get, so that's why I think the odds maker just do that. But I believe we're going to win in Oakland. I think this is a game we should win by at least a touchdown or 10 points. I just don't see Oakland beating us, even though they have been better than they're supposed to be. Stafford should honestly be in the MVP conversation. Stafford has been amazing this year. The numbers he's putting up. He just passed Joe Montana last week in 40,000 passing yards, I believe. Stafford's been amazing.
Yeah, I think the Lions will win this game. I don't know what's going on over there in Oakland. John Gruden, I don't know what his plan is or what, but.
Yeah, and everyone's saying that like Josh Jacobs is going to run all over us. Our run defense is porous. I don't know what people are looking at. We stopped Saquon Barkley. Yes, he had a touchdown, but he only had 65 yards against us. And he's been they show the highlight of him breaking 3 tackles on 1 run. But dude, he was not having a fun day the whole game. So I mean, to say that Josh Jacobs, who yes is a very good running back out of Alabama, to run over we're gonna go on the road and get ran over by him, I just don't see it happening. Derek Carr, I just no. I really don't think the Lions are gonna have a problem in this game. I mean, yeah, you're right. Offensively, we are super inconsistent, and I do agree that Stafford should be in the conversation for MVP. I just don't think he's going to get there because of how crappy the team is going to be, especially if we don't.
That's true.
Because winning always comes into the effect of this, but I just think you have to. I don't know. You have to put Stafford in the thing. He's playing out of his mind. I think he had one really bad throw against the Giants where he threw into the triple coverage, and he threw to Janoris Jenkins on a pick, but I just don't think like
some of the throws he makes, a lot of guys can. Also, to correct myself on my point, he became the 21st member of the 40,000-yard passing club, which is Stafford's great. He's showing what he can do. But I do agree. We are very inconsistent, but I do think this is another winnable game that we should win. But I mean, we're also in a tough division. You know, we're playing the Vikings twice every year. The Packers. Aaron Rodgers has looked like probably the best quarterback right now in the league, you know, to this point. And the Bears still have a great defense. So that, you know, that's going to be a tough game. I can see us winning it. You know, I think it's going to be a good game. But another game on this weekend, the Browns versus Broncos. And this is an interesting game to me because Baker Mayfield has not been that good this season. And I've been on the Baker Mayfield bandwagon, but I think this is a must-win game. The Browns 2-5. Do you guys still see them making the playoffs, or is that too much of a stretch right now?
I think they're going to have to win this game in order to even still have a chance at it. I think if they lose this game, they're done. And I think I even seen that like on First Take early this morning or something that like they said like yeah they like have to win this game and pretty much win out in order to still have a chance to make the playoffs. So I think it's a must win.
Yeah, and Baker, you know, it showed, I believe it was either yesterday or the day before, he walked out on the media.
Yeah,
he, you know, the guy, I really don't know what the question was from the reporter. You know, he's asking him about his sense of urgency on the field. Yeah, Baker's right. That guy was a stupid question. Like, why would you ask an NFL player, like, what is your sense of urgency?
Was he happy with the drive when they didn't score? Obviously, he's not happy with that.
That's stupid.
That was a dumb question. One thing I didn't like that Baker said, he's like, you didn't play, so you don't know. But just because us reporters, you know, we still watch the game. Like, we know what's going on. Like, when you watch a movie, you don't have to be an actor just to know what's happening in the movie. So, like, we still know what's going on. Just because somebody can't physically play doesn't mean they don't pay attention and study the game as much as you do. But overall, Baker was right. Like, the second question was a very dumb question. Why would you be happy with the drive you didn't score on? That's just a second-place mentality, and it irks me.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what his, like, the reporter's, like, mindset was going into that interview. Like, yeah, I get it's a group interview, and you're trying to take a different angle from everybody else in that room. But I just don't understand that, like, you have just, I don't know, yeah, you're right, a second-place mentality. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
That's like asking, are you happy with a loss?
Yeah.
Like, obviously they're not happy with a loss. Like, and Baker, the guy he is, he's high energy, high octane. You know, he wants it.
He's super passionate.
Yeah, he's 100% every time. So he really wants it, and he knows he has to play better because all, you know, the stuff they're saying in the beginning. But I do believe they can possibly, honestly, win out. Maybe not win out, but I can still see them finishing with 9 or 10 wins because I believe you're just going to see a different Browns team.
Right.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if what you guys think about it, but Freddie Kitchens has been, like, horrendous. Like, if I was a Cleveland fan, I'd be begging for him to give up the play sheet, giving up the play calling to someone else. He just doesn't seem like to know how to coach it, like, or not coach, but, like, run an NFL offense, like, in situations. Like, it seems just like he's just, like, on a script, and, you know, you have to do this if you're doing this. So, I don't know. Like, Freddie Kitchens, just needs to be. He's a great head coach. That's Baker's guy. It was either him or Riley Lincoln, or Lincoln Riley. I'm sorry, but just give it up, Freddie Kitchens. Please do the play calling for someone else. It would make Baker happy. Odell would probably be happy because now Odell wants out. So
true, but I still think it's not a lost cause. You have winnable games. When I look at the schedule, you have the Browns, the Bills, then Steelers and Dolphins. Steelers again, Browns, and Bengals. My bad. Cardinals and Ravens. The Bengals. They've already beat the Ravens. The Bengals are probably one of the worst teams in the league. They can beat them. I still think these are winnable games. You know, the Bills game next weekend will be tough, but I still think Freddie Kitchens has a chance to turn around. But I do agree, if he doesn't, it could be, you know, the Browns obviously not hesitant to fire someone. They fired Hugh Jackson pretty quickly last year, so, you know, I think there still is a chance to turn around because you have so much talent. Baker Mayfield is Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Odell Beckham.
Yeah, you have a ton of offensive playmakers there, and you have Myles Garrett on defense.
Yeah, like
how are you 2-5? How?
They have had a little bit of a rough schedule, but still, I agree. Like,
yeah, they have the pieces there. Just execute with them.
So, what's your guys' thought on the 0-7 Dolphins versus the 1-8 or 1-6 Jets this week?
Honestly, I think this is an interesting game considering, I don't know if you guys saw Jamal Adams' comments during the week. And I like Jamal Adams. I think he's a great safety, but he's not in the same breath as Aaron Donald and Tom Brady as he was referring to. Like when a team sees a situation when they want to try to get better and you're one of the key players, I understand he's the cornerstone of that franchise. You're trying to get better, and why would you want to stay on a 1-6 team? Like, that's what thing I don't get. But to answer your question, I do think they should win. But honestly, this game can go either way. I've seen Ryan Fitzpatrick have some good games, but the Dolphins are pretty bad and the Jets aren't much better. Sam Darnold's seeing ghosts, so you never know what you can get from him. I know,
dude. And Adam Gase just seems like he's crazy. Like, he came in, I don't know if you guys saw when he got introduced there in New York, his eyes, like the crazy eyes or whatever at the press conference. And it also seems like, I just saw the clip roll through my feed again of Belichick trolling them when they were, in the Meadowlands. He's taking the 5-yard penalty and rolling the clock down, and then they're not doing anything about it. And I just think the Dolphins. I know the Dolphins are tanking, but it's they got up to a 14-point lead, and it seemed like they just started calling all the wrong plays magically. Oh, what are the odds of that? Ryan Flores was like, yeah, we can't win. So. I would bet the Jets. Heartbeat? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I agree. So, Dolphins are pretty bad, but there is one game I think that's interesting too this week. What do you guys think about the Bears and Eagles? Both teams who have kind of been disappointing, and there's been a lot of talk. This could be Mitch Trubisky's last year in Chicago, because honestly, I don't know if he's a guy for the Bears. What do you guys think? Because I don't see them winning a championship with him as a quarterback.
So as a Lions fan, he can stay there as long as he wants.
Well, yeah.
But you're right. I think Matt Nagy, he's like an idiot. Like, he called himself, I'm not an idiot. And 2 weeks ago in a press conference, and they ran the ball 5 times in a whole NFL game. Who does that? No one does that. You have a great running back with David Montgomery. Do something about it. So having he is another person who I think needs to give up the play calling, because he's a defensive minded coach. That's what he was when he was I believe he's with the Broncos. That's what he was when he was with the Broncos. He's a defensive coach. And why would you all of a sudden assume the play calling? It just assisting, just let it go. Trust your guys. So you're right. I think it's his last year there. I don't know who they're going to get. I know Chase Daniels is no better. Yeah. So obviously they're going to go for someone in the draft, but they're not doing that. I believe, what are they right now?
They're 3-4, and the Eagles are 4-4. Also, I think this is a game Carson Wentz needs to improve. He's been kind of a little bit subpar overall this season, kind of average. He needs this game to try to take the next step, because a lot of people are saying, Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, but you're supposed to be the guy. So Carson Wentz, I need you to come through this weekend, because I still believe in Carson Wentz. I think he's still one of the best young quarterbacks in this league. So he has the weapons around him. He needs to get it done. But to go back on the Mr. Stravinsky point, yeah, I think you might need to trade up. But then again, you did it before in the 2017 draft, and you draft him over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
What is that?
Right.
I just think it's time to let Mr. Stravinsky go if you can't. Because in his career so far with the Bears, 36 touchdown passes, and he's thrown 22 interceptions.
Yeah. As a Lions fan, thank you from the Bears organization.
Yes, thank you, please.
They've had a really tough time not finding a kicker, and now you can't find a quarterback. They have Khalil Mack. That's really all they can say. There was, I don't know if we talked about it in the last week's show, but Adam Schefter saying that he can go to the Bears, he can go to anywhere. There's word that Tom Brady can go to a Patriots head coach.
Patriots head coach?
A former Patriots head coach who are right now. So that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Mike Vrabel from the Tennessee
Titans. Brian Flores is a former guy down there. But, dude, if he went to Miami, man, someone was saying Miami might be the place, but they have draft picks and they have stuff like that. But I don't think Brady's there to rebuild.
Yeah, if Brady goes anywhere, he's going to want to win. I could see Brady in, like I said before, Chicago situation. You already give him a great defense,
yeah,
with some weapons with Allen Robinson, and you got Tariq Cohen in the backfield. But I don't know. Honestly, I want to see him finish his career in New England, but I don't know if I can see Brady in another jersey. It's just going to be too different, weird.
I think he cares too much about, and that's just the thing people care about. Like Kobe, he cared about being a Laker forever. So that's another thing maybe Tom does. Like, he cares about being a Patriot that entire time.
But honestly, a lot of great quarterbacks, we do see them in different places. Peyton Manning obviously finished with the Denver Broncos. Joe Montana finished in Kansas City. A lot of people don't even know that.
Yeah, and they traded him away because they picked Steve Young. So, right.
And that's what Belichick wanted to do, because their relationship was actually damaged a little bit, because you guys probably remember 2 years ago when Brady's trainer was banned from the facility because, he wanted to keep Jimmy G, and Brady went to Kraft, basically saying, he wants to play until he's 45. But now Brady's having second thoughts. So it's putting Bill Belichick in a little bit of a, bad stick, because he's like, this is why I wanted to keep Jimmy G in the first place. But I do like the backup Stidham. He played great in the preseason. I believe that's probably going to be the guy moving forward for New England. But it'll be interesting to see. I do believe, if they can win the championship, which I'm picking them to this year, it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the offseason if Brady wants to come back. But then again, I want to ask you guys, why come back again if you win this year? That will be 7 rings. There's nothing left to prove.
I really don't understand, unless he really truly feels he can get one more easily. But so much changes in the NFL. There's so many variables each week and then, throughout the whole year. But I just don't see it. Like, he sold his house. Yeah, Alex Guerrero sold his house. Like, all the signs are pointing. Adam Schefter, I wish we could pull the sound up. I'm sure we get copyright for it. But Matt Hasselbeck's talking about it, and Schefter's like, oh, you can wait. What did you hear? Like, what did you hear? So Schefter's like fiending for information right now. Like, he scratches his arms like an addict. Like, he needs it, dude. He's like checking all his sources, all that. But yeah, you're right. Like, I don't see Brady. Like, there's no point of Brady like coming back though. Like, if he really needs, like, what did you? You're already in, dude.
Like you want 8. Like, I mean, right. I get it. Like, you love football and all, but is it worth, like, you don't want to like kill yourself out there?
Yeah, enjoy your kids.
Enjoy your kids. One wrong hit can end it. Like, and I love Tom Brady. He's my favorite quarterback of all time. I think he's easily the greatest. I just think hopefully he wins it this year. Just probably retire, let them, because I believe that's what Belichick in his heart really wants to do. He just won't say it. He really wants to rebuild them then, so that's why he wanted to keep Jimmy G.
Yeah, and I think, like, I knew it wasn't, like, reports came out that, like, it wasn't even his idea. It was Belichick didn't want to get rid of Jimmy G.
No, it was Brady.
Yeah, it was Brady because he knew.
And Belichick kind of felt betrayed because he felt like Robert Kraft went with the 40-year-old guy at that time over, his own coach. So
it's just, dude, it's crazy in there, man. Like, when that thing blows up, man, like, it'll just be super fascinating to get all the details out, to hear, like, I hope Belichick, like, writes a book. I want to hear all the secrets, man. Like, the Patriots organization is crazy.
I've been hearing, I want to tell you guys, I've been reading and watching some YouTube videos reading some stories and watching some YouTube videos this past week. There's, like, some myth that Belichick threw the game in the 2018 Super Bowl against the Eagles. And I just completely think that's completely false, saying that's why he sat Malcolm Butler. He wanted Brady to see if he can win on his own. Some stuff when you look at it's like, but yeah. Bill Belichick wouldn't throw a game. Right. And Brady, he still almost won that game by himself, kind of, because 505 passing yards. But next topic is honestly, let's dive back into some NBA. What do you guys see? Anthony Davis, 40-20 through 3 quarters, became the first Laker player to do that since Shaq in 2003. Sean, I see you shaking your head over there. What was your opinion on it?
I honestly did not like that because I'm going against him in fantasy this week, so that is kind of the reason why I did not really care for that. But other than, it was a good game and all that, but yeah, I'm just kind of more or less upset that I'm facing him in fantasy the week he decides to go off.
Yeah, I think it was crazy to see, like, how he was able to, like, he was getting triple teamed, dude. I think he was 26-27 from the free throw line. It's not like they were, like,
that's insane.
Yeah, it's not like they weren't, like, trying to get there. Like, dude, they were hacking the crap out of him. He was still putting that thing, like, putting it up. And so, I don't know. That's nuts. I don't obviously expect him to do that every night, but I mean, see what he could do is especially only through 3 quarters. Like, oof.
I think they should keep running the offense through him. And LeBron's even said that. Like, AD's really the guy. He's only 26. He's going to be in the MVP race, and that was very impressive. To me, the most impressive is he was 26 or 27 from the line. A lot of big men. We were just talking about Drummond earlier. He struggles from the line.
Yeah,
that's so vital. And LeBron, he's somebody who struggles from the line. So that was just very impressive. I mean, the Lakers are going to be a great team, man. I don't think they'll win the championship, but they're definitely going to be in the running, and they could. Like, they're going to be tremendous. Especially Kuzma's back tonight. I don't know if you guys saw. He's going to play his first game tonight. I mean, the Lakers are going to have a really good team, man.
Yeah, I still think I know we've done the battle of LA already, and I just think the Clippers are still going to be there, man. Like, you're right, LeBron is. It's good of him to recognize that he's older and he shouldn't be running the offense through him, especially if you have a very good player.
The best big in the league,
right?
probably.
The best big in the league right now with AD, Anthony Davis. That's smart. That's what smart players do. That's what great players do, is to understand hey, I'm not the guy anymore, but I can still be productive when it comes to crunch time and stuff like that. But I still think Kawhi and them are gonna because they have to meet. How many more times do they have to meet in the year?
I believe 2 more.
2 more times.
The next time they meet is Christmas Day, which is going to be a great game to
right,
watch.
And you know they're going to slate them on Christmas Day. But I would think, man, if you really think that they were going to sweep them, that'd be crazy because it's tough to beat someone 3 times in the year. But man, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if they swept them in the season series.
I think I wouldn't be shocked either, depending on the load management thing you talked about earlier, Sean, about Kawhi sitting games out early. I just think when they meet in the playoff series, it's going to be the Clippers. I see them in 6 or 7 games. Obviously, home court won't matter because both LA. There's going to be fans half and half. Right. Clippers and Lakers jerseys, but. Both teams are going to be fully healthy. That's why I really can't wait for it. But I just thought it was funny. No disrespect to Kuzma because he's a great player. How some Lakers fans were just oh, we didn't have Kuzma when we guys played. They didn't have Paul George. He finished 3rd in MVP voting. I love Kuzma. He's a great player. But it's not a comparison right now. Paul George is the superior player in that category. And, it's just a laughable subject because when Paul George comes back, man.
Yeah, it might be over for anyone who's in the way of the Clippers just to face all those guys, but for sure.
What about the Utah Jazz?
I knew that was coming. I'm not going to lie. I know you're a Jazz fan. I believe they're going to be good. I still think the same. I think their ceiling is second round. I don't think they're better than the Trailblazers, Rockets, or either LA team with the Clippers and Lakers. I just think their ceiling is a possible second round. But me personally, I think they're going to lose in the first round this year.
I'm just glad Conley finally learned how to play basketball, even though the Clippers were sitting out Kawhi. He finally learned how to play basketball again. It's his first good game.
How far do you honestly think they'll go, though?
I think they could go to the championship.
Wow!
No! Sean! Come on, man. Sean.
Okay, give me some bases how. Yeah, give me some bases how. Because, they could possibly, you're right, they could possibly even lock up the 1 seed. They could even do all that because,
but
no one
outside of injuries, you really think this Jazz team can make the finals?
Yeah, no one, so here's the thing. No one, isn't that what the Nuggets did last year? They had the number 1 seed last year. Yeah,
well, they had the number 2 seed, but, they lost to Portland. But we knew they weren't. They were like the 2015
I feel
Hawks.
Seeding doesn't matter so much in the West as much as it does in the East. But yeah, give us your bases, Sean. Why would
I think they're gonna make a trade for Kevin Love at the trade deadline, and that is gonna.
Okay, that's a bold prediction.
And that's gonna.
He had a great game too this week.
Into the possible Western Conference Finals, NBA final discussion.
To go on your point, even with Kevin Love, even if that trade, if you do predict and that happens, they're still not better than either the Clippers, Lakers, and I don't even know if they're better than Portland, and they're definitely not better than Houston. Do you really think the Jazz can beat them?
I think they're better than Houston with Kevin Love.
What?
Bro.
James Harden, Russell Westbrook?
Yes.
You know what?
Yes.
You know what?
I can't believe my ears.
Okay, so big shout out to John Bielan getting his first NBA win. Kevin Love, that was a big game you were talking about. Listen, they are going to have an act of God, and maybe we're all going to be clowns here. Travis and I are going to be clowns here, but they're going to need an act of God for the Jazz to even even have the consideration to even go into the Western Conference Finals. Like,
Hold on. I'm actually not saying that they're going to make the West Finals and NBA Finals. I'm saying they're a sneaky team.
I'm just
saying the only way that could happen is if injuries happen to all the teams I named, like the Rockets, Lakers, Clippers, even Trailblazers. But if all these teams stay healthy, I just don't think there's a scenario where the Jazz beat either of those teams. Do you really think the Jazz can beat any of those teams in a 7-game series fully healthy?
Probably not the Clippers. Maybe Lakers. Maybe.
What?
Maybe. Lakers.
He said maybe, Travis.
Maybe.
But to go on your point, Donovan Mitchell, I can't believe this, but I do give you Donovan Mitchell is a great player. He's having a good year so far. Michael Conley, they're going to be a good team. Like, I can't lie, they will be. And if this was the Eastern Conference, I do believe they can probably make the conference finals. I just think it's too many good teams. But I respect your opinion, but Sean, I just think you're wrong here. But we'll see what happens, though. You never know.
I'm really high on him this year. I don't know why. But I think it's just because Donovan Mitchell, the start that he's had, and Mike Conley. I mean, I still think Mike Conley's really good. I mean, yeah, he had one good game last game, but still.
Yeah, that was a potential guy the Pistons were going to get, but he wanted way too much money, and the Pistons
We also didn't want to trade Luke Kennard either.
Yeah. Whoa, man!
I'm not gonna lie. I would have done that trade for Michael Conley. I want to win now. And Luke Kennard, I mean, he's been good so far, but I don't know if he's just a shooter, man.
Listen, I'm a Luke Kennard advocate, and let me tell you right now, he's a shooter, and he plays like a Duke player. But
no,
he does.
That's not what
He just looks like. I know he went to Duke, but he looks like it, dude. It's terrible. But he's shooting almost 50% from 3. He's shooting at 90% from the free throw line. He's shooting 44% from the floor. I mean, he's not like he's doing all right. It's tough. Like, okay, so listen, Luke is finally now getting his spot in the Pistons offense after we drafted him in. Dude, was it 2017? Was it 2017?
And he wasn't even one of the best players in that draft class.
You can't go back and look at if I would have known.
But I'm saying, like, come on, there were so many other guys in that draft class.
Name one.
Well, we didn't get a chance to draft him actually, but like Malik Monk, Jason Tatum, Markelle Fultz wasn't that good. But
Markelle Fultz, dude, I wanted Markelle Fultz so bad when he tricked everyone. Like he tricked everyone. He looked so good at Washington State.
Kyle Kuzma's the guy we could have drafted in that draft class.
Yeah, but where does he fit in the Pistons offense right now? What is he gonna play 3? Was he gonna play 3?
We don't know. He's a better overall player than Luke Kennard.
Listen, and the thing is, like,
would you agree with that?
Who?
Kuzma is better than Luke Kennard.
Oh yeah, I thought you said Blake Griffin. I was like,
oh no.
Yeah, I'd have to say, like, Luke Kennard definitely doesn't, like, he's not one of those guys you're like, oh crap, we gotta play Luke Kennard tonight. It's like, oh, Luke Kennard, there you go, he has 20 points again. How, But yeah, I think that was the last year Van Gundy was part of our draft process. So,
right.
I mean, he saw something in him. He's a shooter.
I think that's just it, though. What else is he going to create? Is he going to be a guy to take over a game? Is Luke Kennard going to get us 25 a night?
No.
He's averaging 15 right now.
No, he's not going to be a guy who's going to take over the game. What he's going to be, though, is a guy who can catch off a curl and shoot a 3, or he can take the ball and do one dribble and shoot off the ball. I think that's like one thing he's developed ever since we saw him come into the league was him being able to, he wasn't able to, he was a catch and shoot guy at Duke, and that's what he was his first 2 years with the Pistons. Now he's got a little bit of dribble. He now shoots a little mid-range. He's shooting across the lane, a little floater here and there. Yeah, I mean, he's not no Donovan Mitchell. You're right.
You are right about that. We do need a catch and shoot guy, and he has been that. I'm not discrediting Luke Kennard. He has been so good for this season. He's shooting 45% from 3, which is great. But I'm saying if we have an opportunity to get a guy who can take over games, create his own shot, and Luke Kennard is involved in that trade process, I'm doing it.
You're right. I would absolutely take that in a heartbeat. I don't think I want to see how Sekou is.
That's another guy we could have drafted, Donovan Mitchell, that you said.
I know. I want to see see how Sekou plays. We haven't got to. I think the Pistons have gotten a gem with Christian Wood. I think he has been bounced around the league for multiple teams. Like, he played a little bit with the Bucks. He's not obviously cracking the lineup there. So coming to us and him just making the team, and now he's out here producing. It's
Christian
awesome.
Wood has been good.
Right, it's awesome. This stuff never happens to the Pistons. We never find that guy who's the diamond in the rough. What is Warwick Dunn or whatever? Who's the guy in Miami right now? Dunn. Yeah. Kendrick Dunn?
Kendrick Dunn.
Yeah, Kendrick Dunn. Dude,
he's been great.
Undrafted.
He scored 100 points through the first 4 games. First player to do that since Kevin Durant.
Yeah, he's putting up stuff
yeah, Kendrick Dunn. He had 28 last night.
No one even knows who that guy is, and so that stuff never happens to the Pistons. We always get either we get the veteran dump offs, or for example, I'm kind of happy. No offense to Joe Johnson, I'm kind of glad he didn't make the team because, to
be honest, yeah,
where was he gonna fit?
And he's older too.
Yeah, Christian Wood knows his role in the team. So it's now going to be his minutes will diminish probably when Blake comes back, but now that having him and showing that he can play gives Blake either less guilt or more time to heal, because I don't know, he says knee soreness, and that really scares me because he's had all this time to heal, and oh man, it just hurts.
I know, because Blake is coming off his best season ever last year. He averaged 25. He was casting in the threes. We're gonna definitely need him if we're gonna make any sort of run. I just wish there's a possible scenario we can make a trade without him. That would help us greatly. But most of the trade scenarios we keep seeing are with Blake. Because he is our best asset. We need another guy. Compliment him. But I just think it's gonna be interesting to see. And
you guys want to transition into the World Series? Talk about the Nationals?
Yeah, great series. Nationals also became the first team in MLB history to win all 4 games on the road.
Yep, I did see that. Yep.
That was amazing. Sadly, I had picked the Astros, big Justin Verlander guy, as you guys know. But also another stat: all 5 starting pitchers from the 2014 team have a ring now.
Yep. Justin
Verlander, Rick Porcello, David Price, Matt Scherzer, and Abel Sanchez.
Yep, I did see that. Yep.
So I thought it was a great series. I thought I was happy for Steven Strasburg. He got the World Series MVP. Great series, man. Great series. What do you think, Barrett?
I thought, it was great for the Nats. Washington's actually suffered a while for a sports team or a sports town. Washington sucks. The Wizards, they also suck. I believe, don't they have a WNBA team there?
Yeah, Mystics.
Yeah, rest in peace. So, it's good to see you get a championship back to them. Bryce Harper's got to be punching air right now. Yeah, he's got to be pissed because he left there, and now they went on a tear.
And the one thing I want to say, this is a team that was 19-31 during the season.
Yeah,
and they won the World Series.
Right.
And the Astros won 107 games, and they just looked like the clear favorite. And even though the Astros are the early favorite to win next year, I just don't think it's going to be the same team. I think Garrett Cole, I don't know if you guys saw the post-game interview, he's saying I'm unemployed. When they're trying to ask him about the series, because he was pissed because he should have pitched in Game 7. Greinke was doing good for a while, and it was just, man, I just think it was just such a great story. And I don't know if you guys saw the video, Matt Scherzer and Sanchez hugging. Man, it's such a great time, even though it sucks they couldn't get it done here.
Yeah. And also Bryce Harper back when he was doing his interview for Philly when he first got to Philly. I'm going to bring a championship to D.C. He accidentally said that and all that. I just thought that was funny how he said that. No. Yeah, the Nationals are World Series champs.
Yeah, but congrats to the Washington Nationals. They're a great team. This year they deserve it. I did think the Astros were going to get it, but it was a great baseball season. I'm excited to see what moves happen. Hopefully, us Tigers get better. Yeah. But that will be all for the Mikes and Takes episode 4 with me, Travis, Barrett, and Sean. Catch us next week, next Friday. We'll talk more NBA and more NFL.